everyone, this is Jade from shutupandrockon.com, and spur of the moment, I just grabbed Kurdt Vanderhoof from Metal Church, so he's sitting down with me right now. Kurdt, how are you doing?
Doing awesome. It's great to be here.
They just played their set not too long ago at Chicago Open Air, and they did an amazing job. As you guys know, I've covered them in the past, like 3 or 4 times within the last year.
Right.
I live in Rochester, so you guys play there, yeah. And so we're here to talk some Metal Church while he's got the time. So talk to me about the formation of the band, because you've kind of been the powerhouse of the band, the constant member. Yeah.
Yeah, I started the band back in the early 80s in San Francisco. And after about a year or so of trying to get it together in there, it didn't work out. So I ended up relocating back to my hometown of Aberdeen, Washington, and put it together with people that I worked with in high school and stuff like that. So we kind of launched ourselves out of Aberdeen, and that's where it started, in the early 80s. Yeah,
At least, yeah. Now, what made you want to start playing?
Well, for me, it started with...
I taught him everything he knows, Don Jameson.
We have the great Don Jameson with us.
Oh, no, I don't want to interview Bob.
And he's going to raise his horn.
He's going to raise his horn. Absolutely.
Awesome. No, and for me, it started with the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and just went on from there, and I never stopped. So as soon as I saw that, just like most of the people in here today, that's where it started. That's when I knew what I wanted to do, so I never stopped.
Now, you guys were in Washington once you tried again. You're friends with Queensryche? You like?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. I'd love to see you guys play together.
We've been trying to put that together for a couple years now.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened.
I know, right? It was the perfect Northwest Metal Fest.
Northwest Metal Fest. That'll be I can see it now in lights.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk to me about the first album, Metal Church, what it was like making that.
Well, that album, we were just really a bunch of kids that were excited to be part of this new movement.
Yes.
And we just went into the studio, didn't really know what we were doing. We just went to the studio and played. And Terry Date was the staff guy, the engineer, and we did most of that album live, and we were done recording and mixing within 10 days. So that was just,
that's why. Pretty fast. That's how.
Well, because we didn't know how to do it any other way. And then on the next record, we learned how you do it with a producer, and you take months to do it and everything.
Yeah, and you don't just throw it out.
Yeah.
But Beyond the Black is on that album, and that's like a pegged Metal Church song. So
Right.
It's not like it was all for nothing. You did something right.
Well, that's everybody's favorite album. That was everybody's. And I think because we did it we just captured energy on tape rather than sweating over all the minutia of getting into production. We just went in and fucking played, and that kept the energy, and I think that's what everybody relates to on that record.
Now, that album was when you were signed on Elektra, right?
The first album we did independently,
Okay.
but then Elektra picked that album up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And 2 years after that, you guys released The Dark with the infamous We Watch the Children Pray.
Right.
How are you over that song yet?
Well, when I think about it, yes. But when you come out to play it in front of people and you watch the reaction and you get the feedback, then absolutely not. Then it's a blast.
Yeah, right?
So it's the whole playing it live to the crowd when they're loving it, that never gets old.
Now, looking at, you guys have a crap ton of albums, and you also have had a couple singers in your band. How was it when you had to switch singers? Like, how was that for the band as a whole and everything?
Oh, when Mike joined the band initially?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that was a tough one because we were kind of, ascending at that point, and that was a tough. There he is. Speak of the devil.
We have Mike Howe across the room from us.
And well, I mean, that was a tough one, but it had to be done.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where the band could not have continued with Dave. And when we found Mike, we got really lucky.
Where did you find Mike? Where did he come from?
I got hired to produce a band called Heretic in L.A. And that's where we had met. And I was not in the band. I had moved out of behind the scenes of Metal Church at the time, and was producing his band's album, and that's where we met.
There's a lot going on in the media booth at the moment.
And it's not even social media. Yeah.
I know.
It's anti-social media.
I know, right?
But and then I was working on his album, and Metal Church was looking for a singer, and he asked me for an audition. And that was kind of a real awkward position to be in with with his record label and his band. And then it was kind of perceived that I was kind of working it, and it wasn't. It was just he had an opportunity to up the game, and I hooked him up with the band, and the band got really lucky. So
Yeah, that's just how it happened. Because I was
Yeah.
going to ask, like, did you audition a couple of singers or something?
we did prior to that. Yeah, we did. But when Mike came in, it was just like it was just obvious.
Yeah, because I was going to say, right now anyway, singing, he clicks really well. Like, on stage, everything looks
having
amazing.
him come back now is great.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
And what made him come back? Like, what led up to that?
Well, when I talked to him after our other singer left, I knew there wasn't a fourth singer for Metal Church. So I had just been talking to him, just getting reacquainted, and then our singer left. And I was, I'll ask Mike if he's interested. Then the conversation started, and then we just kind of started spending time talking about how we do business differently now as opposed to when the band ended in the early 90s, with bad management, bad record deals.
I was going to ask, what led to the whole ending of it?
Well, the whole industry changed, and then, there's real bad management going on and bad record deals and all the classic stuff. So that's why he got out of the business completely. And so when we kind of explained to him how it's a different deal now, that we do everything ourselves, and we're in control of everything. We make the records ourselves. There's nobody telling us what to do, how to do it, or anything. So, and that was inspiring, and that's what made him come back, where you come back to something that we're in control of ourselves.
And I can imagine how much more peaceful and easy it is when you're doing everything yourself.
Well, there's definitely, there's a lot of changes in the industry now, and the big money isn't there and the big record deals aren't there. That's the downside. The upside is the big record companies aren't really in there anymore. It's all direct artists to fans, and it's a lot easier to do it yourself. And the industry is set up to do that now, which is great. It's just, that's the best part,
And what were you doing in the time that, like, when Metal Church kind of ended for that little period of time? What were you doing during that period?
I had another band called Hall of Flame, and we were out with ZZ Top for a while. And then I got really into the production thing, into the studio thing. Yeah, I do my own studio and produce other bands and do a lot of songwriting and that kind of stuff, too. So that's what I do. Yeah.
And then you guys come back last year, I think it is, with the album. It was under Rat Pack Records, right? Which, love that label.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
And it's like 11, XI in Roman numerals. Now, that's the album with Mike's for the first in 23 years almost, right? So how was kind of rekindling it, and how was writing it?
It was awesome because it was new inspiration for me. And him and I get to work together again. And the cool thing is this time not only we did get to work together writing music, but we got to be in the band together. Where when he was in the band before, I was not in the band. So we actually got to play in the band too now. So that was a real big inspiration. And also too, when he came back, that brought another more different element back to the band, because the Mike Howe era of Metal Church was a little more melodic, a little more rock and roll, as opposed to the first couple records. So that really appealed to me because we can be a lot more musical. And so we were doing a little more of the rock and roll, a little more melodic side of things. So that was more inspiring for music.
Yeah, and it lets you kind of explore the things that you hadn't done in a while.
Exactly.
And props, because I love that album. It's an amazing album, and it peaked on the Billboard 200 charts in like the 50s.
I know, right?
Yeah, and that's amazing.
That was the highest we've ever charted.
Yeah, I think it was like 56 or 57 or something, and it was monumental for the band. Like you said, it made history.
Yeah, that was cool. That's good old Rat Pack Records.
Good old Rat Pack Records. And playing, so you guys have been playing a lot of shows in the past year or 2 years. I've seen you guys, like I said, numerous times in my town, which never happens. No one comes to where I'm from. I live 10 hours away where nobody ever comes.
Right.
But you guys do. And I can honestly say that I saw you guys at the Montage Music Hall, the only time I have gone to a show at that venue that sold out. The only time.
Wow.
You guys sold it out.
Cool.
So tell me what you guys are up to now. We're here at Chicago Open Air.
Right, we're doing that until 1st of August. We go back to Europe for 2 weeks to do festivals. We come back, and then in 1st of September, mid-September, we do Prog Power in Atlanta.
Which is you guys aren't really prog, though.
No, I know. I have a prog band which is more prog, but yeah, we do that, and then it's new album time.
Now talk to me. Don Jameson keeps butting in, guys. So talk to me about the new album. What's going on with that?
Well, all the demos and stuff, Mike and I are demoing everything right now, so it's all written. So now we're going to start working it up together as a band and start recording it probably at the end of August.
And when would you hope to have that out? Maybe end of the
It'll be out early next year.
Early next year, awesome. So can you tell me anything like is it going to be similar to your last release?
Yes, definitely. It's going to keep the same thing going. We're not going to try to change it up. We're going to just keep it true to what Metal Church is.
You got no plans to stop it anytime soon?
No, not yet. No. As long as people still show up, we will.
And I'm sure they will. Now tell me, you guys have, like I said, a crap ton of albums out. Which one of them stand out to you as your favorites?
Mine?
Yes.
Well, it's the first one, of course, for a lot of reasons, but the last album has really been so well received that people are really, for a band like us, everybody wants to hear the old stuff, which is great. So it's really hard to get people to pay attention to the new stuff, but we've been so lucky that people know the new stuff.
It's exceptional, honestly, because I have noticed a lot of people reaching out to you guys on social media and everything with so much praise for the album.
Yeah. And that's huge. So that means a lot to us, too, you know. But yeah, it's the first album, I think. Yeah.
First album.
Yeah.
It's like your baby. That's what started it all.
Because we were part of a movement. We were part of something. And we were young and full of energy and, that whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
And I always try to figure it out because Metal Church has a really unique sound because it's not thrash, it's not really heavy metal, it's not prog like we said. Like, how would you describe the band's sound?
Well, we straddle the line between hard rock and heavy metal, I guess.
Absolutely.
We were described once, I think, in Kerrang! Magazine back in the 80s.
Kerrang! Oh my God.
Yeah, I think we were described as thinking man's death metal. And I was like, that's kind of fun. But we're not really death metal. But at the time, there wasn't really death metal. So I really don't know. I think we are just old school heavy metal.
Heavy metal?
Yeah, just heavy metal.
Plain and simple, really, just like direct.
Exactly. It's not super hard like most new bands, but it's not just hard rock. So yeah, and that's just what it is. It's musical. It's heavy and it's metal, but it's got to still be musical. And
before I let you go, let me know, where can we follow you and keep up with all that you guys are doing?
All the social media stuff, that's where everybody is now. So
I know it plays a huge part in the music scene now. It's incredible.
It is the music scene.
You're right.
And it's just get on social media, and the videos are on YouTube, and the Facebooks and all that stuff.
Oh shit! Wait, I totally forgot. Before I let you go, I take it back. You just did something with Todd LaTorre from Metal Church. Queensryche. You know what I mean.
We redid Fake Healer.
Yeah,
and we did a duet with him.
That was amazing. You guys were recently at a festival in Europe, and he came on stage
in Barcelona 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
How great is that?
That was awesome.
How was working with him?
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He's awesome. He's such a good singer. Yeah. I mean, to have come into Queen, Jeff Tate's job and do what he did, it was like.
And he does it well.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know. Right. So no, it's all good, man. Things are better now than they've ever been, really. You
guys really do seem like you're thriving. In all honesty, you guys are always out on the road doing something, which is all you can do, honestly.
Yeah, and we're just love being in a band, and the fact that at our age we still get to do this. I mean, that's not lost on us at all, man. That's pretty awesome. Not people get to still do this.
I know, and it's been your life.
I know,
for
right?
So many years.
So how blessed am I? Right? How cool is that? So I don't take it for granted, and I don't take for granted at all that the fans are showing up and people are into it. That means the world.
And you guys always hang out after the show, meet everyone. For however long you'll be there all night.
Always try to. Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for sitting down with me for this impromptu interview. Really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys again soon.
Yeah, we'll be back. Awesome.